to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko, and I'm here with my good buddy Evan.
Hey, Earthlings.
So, before we get into today's episode, here's a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
So we're going to Dreamland again.
Dreamland? No, not really.
Not this time?
Yeah, I know it kind of felt like dreamy. Maybe I picked a kind of wrong
Hey,
sound.
Pretty good to me.
I was kind of going for something like a, in the future, sort of.
In the future?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it didn't feel like that.
The HAIKO'S methodology.
What is that? It's okay. It's an inside joke thing. Some people will know about it. But yeah, anyways, well, talking about dreams, did you sleep well?
Slept decently, but I'm still tired for some reason.
Yeah. It's weird. Sometimes you think you got enough, but not really.
Yeah, I think it was more due to the fact that yesterday was Easter and I ate like trash. So I might feel weird because of that.
That's the excuse, eh?
It's the excuse, yeah.
A lot of family around.
A lot of family, yeah.
That's okay.
Always fun.
All right. Sometimes it's fine, just to go overboard a little, but then go back to the regular program.
Can't do that for too long.
But anyways, yeah. So let's get into today's episode. So it's not going to be about dreams or sleeping or eating too much. It's going to be an interesting topic, a bit, futuristic or whatever, but not too hard to understand.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's begin with a teaser, with an image.
Of course.
So do you know what this is?
It looks like something at Walt Disney.
Looks like something at Walt Disney.
There's like something called the Epcot Center at Walt Disney.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like that.
Oh, I've never been to Walt Disney, so couldn't say. But no, it's not for Walt Disney. So you've never seen this structure before?
I've seen it, but I do not know what it is.
You don't know,
or can't remember what it is.
Okay, well, kind of describe what you're seeing.
Okay, so I see a sphere.
Yeah.
That has these mini like holes in them, I guess, or triangle indents kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of in the middle, what it seems like to be a city, I presume.
Yeah, it's some sort of structure. Actually, I'm not really sure what it is in the middle, but it's some sort of structure that's built. But yeah, it's basically a dome, if you will. That's made out of like these metal pieces, and there's like a bunch of triangles that's connected that makes up the dome. But yeah, this is built somewhere that is very near to us. You should know about this.
In Quebec.
Getting close.
In Montreal.
Very close.
In Laval.
No.
Laval is a suburb of Montreal.
Yeah,
so
that's where we are.
Yeah.
But no, it is in Montreal, but where exactly in Montreal?
Where in Montreal?
You don't know this, man?
We have another big sphere in Montreal. The orange julep.
No, not that. Not that stupid, orange thing.
I don't know where it is in Montreal.
Well, this is basically the biosphere, aka the dome.
Oh. How did I not know that?
That is located on the island of Parc Jean Drapeau in Montreal.
Yeah. Okay. So are we going to talk about some nature?
No. It's not actually. This isn't like the topic. So this is the kind of like segue.
Okay.
Just before even I reveal the topic. So why I brought this is because this was designed by a very famous architect named Richard Buckminster Fuller. Have you ever heard of him?
Buckminster.
Buckminster, yeah.
Buckminster.
Oh, I said Buckminster. Yeah, sometimes I mess up his middle, name.
Okay, so he was a famous 20th century architect.
Yes, he was an inventor and also
a futurist.
Yes.
Okay.
So he developed ideas such as the Dymaxion House geodesic dome, which is that dome, and spaceship Earth. So basically, some of these ideas are like the Dymaxion House is like a house that is like self-sustaining, that uses its water system again, to like different uses in the house. So it's like a house that's very sustainable. The geodesic dome is like a dome structure that's made with like very little material, but it's very strong and very big for its size. And the idea of Spaceship Earth is basically his concept that we should think of our Earth as like a spaceship, and that we're all crew members, you know, trying to
aboard the ship,
and try to make it work and be sustainable in our journey through life. You know, he was very like, you know, about that sustainability, you know, that teamwork, that everyone needs to help each other. So basically, yeah, he has very like cool ideas, and he was very ahead of his time. And one of his ideas that I, you know, found pretty fascinating, and that's the topic of today, is called ephemeralization.
Wow, that's a hard word.
It's a bit
ephemeralization.
Ephemeralization.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Bit of a mouthful.
Enlighten me.
Enlighten you, yeah. So, yeah, I put like, yeah, it was kind of like hard to like put a picture for ephemeralization. I put like pictures of bridges. You're
okay.
Like, is it about bridges? You'll see. I'm going to explain it through a story of bridges.
Okay.
But let's, you know, kind of explain the concept of what it is. So, what the hell is ephemeralization?
Yeah, it's a pretty hard word to spell and pronounce. Also.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, pronounce, I would say like you have to like divide the word up. So you would say ephemeralization.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, you know, three.
That
parts.
would be a pretty good word to use in Scrabble.
Yeah, or in a spelling bee contest.
Yeah.
Spell ephemeralization. Can you put that in a sentence?
It's a hard word, yeah.
Yeah. But to explain it, it's not very hard to understand. So basically what this is, it's the ability of technological advancement to do more and more with less and less until eventually you can do everything with nothing.
Okay, interesting.
That is an accelerating increase in the efficiency of achieving the same or more output, more products, services, information, etc., while requiring less input, effort, time, resources.
Okay. So this is like a topic that's like right up my alley, kind of like engineering.
Yes, yeah, engineering is going to be involved in this, and I'm going to, you know, test you on some, you know, little things to see
how much I know.
How much you know, yeah, exactly. Well, you studied mechanical engineering, but some of this will involve like civil engineering. So I guess
it kind of relates.
You'll have some ideas. So yeah, let us begin to explain ephemeralization. So basically, just to like give credit where credit is due. So the story that I'm gonna you know, explain that was basically told by Buckminster Fuller. This was from a YouTube video that I picked up. I'll put the link in our YouTube description. So I'm kind of like taking little parts of that YouTube video and like explaining the story. So like all credits, you know, to the person who made the video.
Okay, cool.
We're going to go through here like different images. So basically the story goes like this. So that Buckminster Fuller was in front of like people. I don't think it was a class. Maybe it was like an event. And basically he was explaining this concept. So on a blackboard, he drew a canyon. Okay.
Okay.
And then between the canyon, you have two people, right? They want to cross. So first question, Evan, how would they cross?
How would they cross?
So they have a canyon, you know, there's a river, and, you know, they need to like communicate, they need to cross. So what would they build?
I guess a bridge.
Okay, so what would be like, okay, think of this like, let's say the year 1200, okay? So they're not very advanced. So what would be like a rudimentary or primitive way, like the most basic way they could?
I guess gather wood somehow and then...
Wood?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe even more basic than that. They would basically fill it up with a bunch of stones.
Yeah, okay. I see the point. Okay. So yeah, the simplest possible way to fill the gap so that they could cross.
Yeah, so they could cross. So they need to take a lot of resources, a lot of stones, fill up the gap, and then, you know, they can pass freely, exchange, communicate, do all that jazz.
Makes sense.
But then I said there was a river in the middle, you know, at the bottom.
Yeah.
So what kind of issue do you see here, Mr. Engineer?
I guess the weakening of soil.
Okay, yeah, like So basically, what happened? So you have a bunch of stones, and then there was a
There's
river.
water.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what happens?
I guess it would. I don't know. Like I guess the rocks would get weakened or something. Or
Yeah. So basically, the water would seep through the stones, right?
Okay.
So the water would like keep seeping.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to figure out where the water was. So it was actually like behind the stones in the picture we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the perspective was.
Yeah, in the Z plane.
It does that. Okay.
Getting technical now.
So you have like a water. It's almost like a dam, kind of the structure here. So the water's seeping through. So what do? They go down, and they basically take out the stones. And what do they create? The shape of an arch.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at in the past, a lot of bridges had that arch shape.
Right. Yeah.
So why does it have that arch shape? So how is it that there are stones with a hole, but it still holds up?
I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Yeah, so basically they're realizing that, the shape itself, it doesn't need to be filled to the brim, like to the bottom.
Yeah.
It could still have a hole while still, I guess I don't know like the technical explanation of how the forces keep it in place, but the arch makes it so that you don't need to have it filled all the way to the bottom.
Okay,
There could still be like a hole, and the bridge still holds up.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like if the water's seeping through that little hole,
Yeah.
then there's like force going onto the rocks, and then the rocks are also applying an inverse force on the water, so it kind of just stays it in place like a stable structure.
Well, no. Well, in this case, the water will just be passing through that hole.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be pushing on the wall.
Well, it's
On the
still
bridge.
there's still contact with the rocks, like in the picture that you're showing right now, right?
Yeah. So, like you'll see here. Like, let me show you the next picture. So basically, you see what's going on.
Okay.
So then what they did is that they made the arch bigger, and bigger. So
Okay.
they could use even less stone and just kind of have the top in stone and then the sides, but then have right in the middle this arch. That's a
Okay. Okay.
hole. Okay. So I just kind of skipped to the next slide here. So what happened though? They saw that stone wasn't strong enough, right? So the stone collapsed. And then they were like, oh, okay, so we did all of that, collecting all these stones, and then we freaking fell down. So then, what other material is stronger than stone?
Stronger than stone. Are we back in the 12th?
Now we're advancing. No, now we're advancing.
I guess steel.
Yeah, steel, exactly.
Okay.
So some, no, actually, no, even before that.
Wood.
No, iron.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess iron is part of, like steel is made out of
Yeah, like
iron.
we learned last time. Remember? Remember when we were talking about the 100 greatest inventions.
Oh yeah, and our tier
I was
list.
explaining that like steel is like an alloy of different metals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess before even steel, they had to discover iron. So that's what they did. So they said, okay, wait a minute. Instead of now building with these stones and all that, why don't we just do like an iron bridge and just, put all these like crossed, how would you call those? Like,
Yeah, like these kind of like X's.
X's, yeah, in between, under it, and the bridge holds like that, right? So what are you like noticing? Like, what is happening here? Like as we're progressing, like what is going on here?
Well, I guess they're just kind of developing better patterns on like
Of making a bridge?
like better structures.
Okay.
Like I know, for example, like a really stable structure
Yeah.
isn't necessarily a structure that's like fully compact everywhere and uniform. It could have holes, like for example, an I-beam. Okay.
Yeah.
An I-beam is a very stable structure. And it's
Okay.
kind of what I'm seeing here where they decided to not, fully put
fill the
material.
bridge.
Exactly. They actually use certain patterns that might actually be more stable.
More stable, yeah. And this kind of relates to that geodesic dome
Yeah.
that he
yeah.
built. It was all made of triangles. And I think the triangle is the greatest shape in terms of strength. Is that true?
That's a good question. I don't think maybe in terms of it depends what structure, to be honest. Like I said, like an I-beam is really a good structure.
But I've heard, yeah, the triangle, because it's very like equal and like all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like to reinforce a certain structure, there are multiple ways to do it. Either you do it with material, but another really important factor is like geometry itself.
Yeah.
So like when you're designing something, you always have to look at the actual geometry of whatever you're doing. Like for example, let's say you have, do you know what a cross section is?
Cross section, like
a cross section is like, let's say you took like a slab of metal and you cut it right in the middle. Okay. And then you would look at what you just cut from like the front. Okay. That's the cross section.
Okay.
So depending on what you're looking at, you actually have to design the cross section to be in a certain geometry to be as stable as possible. So let's say you have a beam of metal.
Yeah.
And that's the square cross section might actually be less just less stable than a triangular cross section. So it just depends what you want to do. And in which context.
So it depends like from the architectural, like
just the purpose of what you're designing. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I didn't know. Yeah, I thought like maybe the triangle was.
It just depends. Yeah. You could have like an ellipse. You could have whatever. Like it could be so many different structures. It just depends.
Whatever suits
that application per se.
Okay. I see. Okay, so yeah, so it basically relates to this, that you don't need to fill the structure. There can be some sort of geometry built into it that's more, like strong,
suiting for the application
for that need. Yeah. So basically, what they're doing is more with less.
Yeah.
Right. We're getting onto that idea. So then someone was like, okay, so we have this arch at the bottom. Why don't we put the arch at the top?
Okay. Right. So it looks like a trampoline now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So now, if you look at, in history, you have those bridges that have, the arch on the top. It's like you see how they like progressed with the bridge structures. So then, we said that iron was what was used, and then you said afterwards steel would be the best, structure to build with, material to build with. So then they said, okay, well, why don't we have like all these like pieces? Why don't we just have two metal posts on each end and then drape the steel cables?
Yeah.
Because what's the other property of steel? Like, what is it, also?
Well, it has high like tensile strength.
Yeah, like very flexible, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. It takes a lot of force to actually deform it.
Oh, okay.
So it always so you have like elastic deformation. I'm getting really technical again.
It's all right.
Or plastic. So elastic deformation means you apply force, but then it comes back to its original shape. But then if you apply enough force, it's going to deform plastically. It's never going to come back to the original shape. So that's a really good property of steel, is that the elastic modulus is so high that you could apply a lot of force and it's always going to come back.
It's always kind of like memory foam.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same idea. That's for polymers though. It's a little different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, memory foam. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But then you said it's plastic, as in if you push it too far,
it deforms permanently.
And it stays like...
lip.
Yeah. Okay. Just gets like destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. But yeah, so in this case, like steel cables that are made for, cable bridges. So those would be like elastic.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like since there's like a lot of force, right? External force from like wind.
Yeah.
Pushing it, you want something that comes back and doesn't deform, right?
Okay,
so that's why you're using steel for it to keep its shape all the time.
To keep its shape, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, steel has a really good elastic modulus, you call it.
Elastic. Okay, cool. So I guess, so then, as time went on, people discovered that you could use steel to make elastic cables, and again, you like use less material, you fill the bridge less. There's like more gaps, right? And then they start making bigger and longer bridges, kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge, which is very iconic.
Yeah.
And,
San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah. So a very good example of that. So we're basically doing more and more with less and less. So then Buckminster Fuller, when he was telling the story, he said, well, why can't we just think that if we go on this pace, then one day we could just do bridges with, like, he said, like, yeah, like nothing, basically. Like, there wouldn't be any connecting thing. And, people at first were like, are you sure about this? This is kind of
suspicious.
This is a little suspicious or a bit weird. And then they started laughing. Everyone was just, laughing their ass off. Like, okay, you crazy, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then he said, okay, am I really crazy? He said, okay, let me put my hand between Earth and Moon. Okay, it's kind of, hard to do. But like, if you're outside and the moon is there and you're doing this, he said the moon and the Earth still have this invisible tether that's connecting them. And they still stay together. Like the moon still follows Earth around, but there's nothing that connects it. So he basically wants you to understand that how is it, that Earth, stays. Well, we know it's because of gravity. And there's this force.
Back to Einstein again.
Yeah. So there's some connections there, yeah. But he's trying to explain that it's being done with nothing.
Yeah.
Quote unquote,
But that's because you have two large objects that like apply such a huge force that like there is kind of like a connection between them.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know if what he's trying to get at is that in the future, like it's almost like this alien technology where we would be able to like do things with like energy or like forces, like
yeah, it's pretty far-fetched.
Kind of like it reminds me of like Halo, like when you would want to like cross some section, you would click a button and like this bridge would come and it was like made out of energy.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you. Yeah,
I haven't played that game.
Yeah, but like think of it. Yeah, it's like a button you press and then zoom. It's like this energy bridge. Comes up. You cross it and then it like goes back. So maybe that's his idea of like the future bridges. I don't know.
That's crazy.
So yeah, just to kind of recap the ideas of ephemeralization. So do more with less. We have more efficiency with less. Where we come also to a point where we do everything with nothing. And also some examples, right? Computers. Before in the 50s, they were like half a room. Now they're like, in our pockets, right?
Yeah.
Very small. Cameras as well, they were huge. Now they're smaller. Cell phones. Everything is getting more efficient, more small.
Yeah.
So certain industries are already doing that. Do you have other examples? Yeah, yourself that you can think of?
Not offhand, but if I do come up with one, I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of hoping you would come because I'm trying to think of what other industry.
I have to think.
Maybe cars. I don't know.
I guess. It's hard to.
Yeah, I guess you could say
pinpoint. I guess, but
like electric cars. You're doing more with less.
Less
pollution.
Pollution or something.
Yes. But then people will argue, yeah, but the manufacturing of electric cars still produces CO2. Okay.
Yeah, there's always two ways to look at it, I guess.
But I guess a lot of like technological products in general, like a printer, maybe also has gotten smaller. Other devices of that sort. But yeah, so let's just go to the question section now, so we can discuss this a bit more. So do you think that we can ever reach a point where we really do everything with nothing?
Maybe in this very advanced society, perhaps, where everything is kind of like automated and we have better ways to do everything. But I feel like it's going to be a long way before we get to that, or if ever, right?
If ever, yeah, there's that too. Yeah, like everything with nothing, yeah, it is very hard to like conceptualize.
Yeah.
Like
we operate with like frequencies and like just like alien technology or something. Like
But he is right. If you look at it, in the grand scheme of things, you see how things get more and more efficient, right?
Yeah, of course.
We just don't see it day to day, but like, you take the computer again, you look at 1950, how huge it was and now how small it is. And then maybe, it will just be like a chip you put in your head or something like that.
Elon, do your thing.
Elon, you're coming up, yeah. Right? So
yeah,
I guess it is possible, but will we do everything with nothing? And what does nothing mean, I guess? What does he mean by that?
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
So, what are you trying to get there?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, what's his definition of nothing? I guess what he means is like just the bare minimum, just nothing.
Yeah, maybe that's what he means. Or maybe his like everything with nothing is like sort of like infinite. Like how numbers just continue going, where we would do with less and less and less and less.
But you never actually reached nothing.
Yeah, because what is nothing?
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of like an asymptote in math. It's like you get really close to something.
Yeah, like that curve.
And then you never reach
like zero.
The asymptote itself or whatever.
Yeah, so I guess we could like represent that in a like graph. Mathematical graph, yeah.
I guess, yeah, that's actually a pretty good way to think about it, I think. It's like you get, what he means by nothing is probably like we get so close to nothing, but we're actually not really there. We're just like infinitesimally close.
Like very minimal, like,
right.
Like, yeah, we don't use a lot of resources, or like the bridge, you know, we don't throw a ton of stones just to build a bridge.
Yeah.
We could have some energy field and then we cross through that. It's still something, but it's a way less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to think about it. Like just making
on absolute zero.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're thinking about absolute zero, but everything could also be never reaching infinity as well. The same way.
Yeah, that's what I think he's looking at it. Like to do everything, like really everything. Again,
just do something very large and in great numbers. But still not infinity, and then nothing is just infinity. As small as possible, but never reaching absolute zero.
So both ends. So would
of
it
the
be
spectrum,
like this double arch going? Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I guess we kind of answered that one. Second question though, are there certain things that requires us to use a lot of resources despite our best efforts?
I think so. One example that comes to mind is like space travel for some reason. Just like,
okay.
For example, just because the energy demands of space travel is so absurdly high.
Yeah,
right?
but that's right now though. Like, you really think in the future we wouldn't discover some sort of, energy, like something that uses a lot less energy and that can take us way further?
I mean, it could be, but
so.
I don't think we're there yet at all.
No, I know. But like you're saying that this, thing would always need a lot of resources?
Well, I think it's going to always require a lot of energy, right? But the resources, I guess, it depends which kind of resources we have that provides a certain amount of energy. Okay. So it'll depend how, advanced we are to make that resource into a certain amount of energy, which is probably going to be a huge amount.
Okay. But it could happen.
It could. I'm not sure it's going to happen anytime soon, but
no, I know. But like, think of like really far into the future.
Like thousands and thousands of years.
Like 10,000 years, something like that. Why not?
Probably. And I think not to get into some conspiracies or anything, but like aliens. Yeah. Just if ever we get to the point that we actually do discover like another species or another life form, that's where I think technology is actually going to take a new level.
It's going to take a leap, yeah. So our alien buddies are going to
Well, yeah, it's weird to say that like aliens don't exist, but like I'm sure like in our universe, like it's
bound to happen.
There's bound to be like some type of life form we're just not aware of.
Yeah, unless you hold like a belief of that, God created only humans, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but have you seen like there's an equation that actually predicted how many other life forms exist in the universe?
No, I don't think so. Is this Stephen Hawking or something?
No, I don't think so. But maybe he did play a role. I'm not sure exactly who came up with that equation. Maybe we could look it up. But
okay. Oh, okay. I mean, I would think so. I would think that you could mathematically come up with some
Yeah.
probability that
exactly, and like the equation takes into account how many galaxies we have, how many planets, and
if certain conditions were met, then it could result in like
exactly
life forms.
So there's literally like
I
an
definitely
equation.
believe there are aliens. Maybe not what we think of aliens of like the big head and round eyes or whatever, but it could just be some sort of cell or something, or
Something that we can't even perceive or we can't even imagine, or
that's the thing. So let's not get too confident in our understanding of the universe,
in our loneliness.
in our loneliness.
I don't think we're lonely. I don't know. It's just
We're not alone. I don't think either.
It's weird to say it out loud, but like yeah, it's hard to believe, in my opinion, that we're like alone. Like, it's weird.
Yeah,
It's just
that's what's
weird.
hard to believe. Not that there is. It's just hard to believe that we're alone.
Yeah. We don't know for sure, but it's hard to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think to go back to the question, I know we went on a little tangent there, but I think if we ever do discover another life form, that's when our technology is just gonna go to the next level, because we'll understand things that we hadn't before.
Okay, I see. Yeah, obviously, I agree on that. But so, do you think, okay, besides the space travel requiring a lot of energy, which I think in the future we will find ways to like travel faster with less, is there anything else in our world that just requires just a lot of resources? Just, you can't bypass it, or can everything eventually be done with less and more efficiently?
Well, yeah, if we're talking like in engineering like context, I don't know if that's how you want me to answer the question.
Yeah, like most products, services, information.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, probably one of the hardest things to get by is that space travel issue. Like,
okay, so you think that's one of the
what's
main,
harder than that? Like
everything
not
else
much.
can really be.
Everything else could be optimized to a certain degree, like whether it be like programming or medicine. That we could make it
agriculture,
pretty,
architecture.
And I think space travel is always going to be one of those issues that remains as one of the most difficult to solve.
Okay. So yeah, you pick like one thing that's like a really hard task to try to
because
make it more efficient.
All those other things I mentioned, like programming, medicine, that's in our control. Like, it's on Earth. Like, we know the variables. We know how.
Okay, because it's in space.
But in space, we don't have control over anything. Like, nothing.
But I think at a really long period of time,
I think
would
so
happen. But okay, so I agree again that most materialistic things that we have, products, services that we use, whatever, will eventually be more efficient and be done with less. But if I can, find something that, no matter what, still, I guess, would require a lot of resources, and maybe I'm being a little romantic here, is, the relationships you have with people.
Relationships, okay. So you're saying that relationships will always require...
to love someone, the human part.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's why I asked that question earlier. Like, are we just thinking about like an engineering context, or it could go like...
Oh, that's what you meant?
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, well, at first I was talking about like just things, material stuff, but we answered that yes, eventually most material things, whatever, will become more efficient.
Yeah,
but the human part, so.
But that what you just said kind of brings a question to my head. Like, is it a good thing to always want, more from less?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. Well, that's what I think, is that as we evolve, like, I'm not sure that humans, I mean, maybe millions of years, like humans, what we are right now, will be different in some ways, psychologically, physiologically, whatever. But I think for now, like, us humans, we require a lot of energy, resource, quote unquote, to, foster relationships, good mental health, to be loved, to have attention. yeah, and I don't think, trying to make relationships or love like more efficient in some way, because no, I don't think it
Yeah.
works.
Well, that's why I
You
feel
can't love more
yeah.
efficient. I don't know.
it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, try to make love more of like a mechanical thing rather than
Like, if we're
something
talking
that's
about-
completely not mechanical. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we're taking some, something physical, that you'll be doing in the bed, I don't think you can try to, do
Automate it.
Yeah, or do less with, more with less or something.
That takes a lot of resources.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the human aspect, I think, will just
Will never go away.
will never. Yeah, you just can't escape it. Some people were like super futurists, were like, I'll be loving you without even touching you. I'll just connect something and boom, you'll know that I love you. Yeah.
That's boring.
Yeah, it's just like almost, yeah, exactly. Like humans, as much as they want things to be efficient, there are just some things they like to take their time and,
Yeah. Sexy time.
Wow, wee. I like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those are things we're never gonna get away from. It's just how we are, and
It's
just there are things that I wouldn't want to have more with less. Like, for example, another example just came to mind that's kind of more on the human side is like music, right? Like, I like to play music. I like to, let's say write music or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a freaking robot to do it for me, or like just,
like produce a lot of songs in
Yeah.
like the least amount of time.
exactly,
Or something
just
like that. Yeah.
write a whole album in like 5 seconds. Like, right, yay.
Or like be able to like consume music or listen music. Like I can listen 10 music in like 1 minute or something.
Yeah, like, why would I want to do that?
Like what's the point of making that? Yeah. See?
It's like it becomes like a programming language at that point. It's just like,
Yeah. Or it just makes the human more robotic.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. So
So I guess there are some things that we'd like to make more efficient, but there are other things that, yeah, making them more efficient would just suck the life out of it,
out of it, yeah. So yeah, whatever relates to kind of our human nature and psychology and just experiencing the world.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like another thing just to add on this, one last thing, like let's say travel, right? Let's say it takes you an hour to go somewhere. The hour that it takes you to go there, it's like a journey. You like prepare. It's like a transitionary period. You're preparing yourself, and then you get there, like, wow, it's a nice place, whatever. But imagine, we do more and more with less, and we build a portal.
Yeah, you just teleport there.
Or teleportation, yeah. What do you think of that, let's say?
Well, yeah, you bring up a good point, because it's either like, we get to our destination quicker and, we get to like just arrive there faster, but we also miss out on the experience, right? Like the journey. Like, let's say you're taking the plane.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I get to take the airplane today. You look out the window. You're like, oh, wow, look at all the towns and whatever, and like little human ants.
The anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then if you would remove that, yeah, it would kind of suck the life out of it as well.
Yeah. So maybe then, right, let's say like the transportation thing, maybe certain things need to be balanced out. We can't like keep doing more and more and more and more with less and less and less and less to the point, it's like, boom, okay, you're here. Wait, what?
Wait, so what you're trying to say is that everything comes down to balance.
See,
We're back to balance.
Back to balance. So even this then, maybe it's not, recommended for everything to be done with nothing.
Yeah.
Almost, maybe having some sort of buffer or some sort of, transition or length of time or whatever you want.
Yeah, we always want more, right? We're always trying to get better and make everything as efficient as possible.
Better, faster.
Yeah, like the song.
Yeah.
But at some point, like, we got to draw a line, right?
I kind of think about it like that song. I think it's like a deep meaning,
Yeah.
that it's just every time, stronger, better, faster, strong. Yeah.
Exactly. It's related to this topic.
Yeah. So I guess it shouldn't always be an
It should be
Yeah.
Should be
Stronger.
angry.
Furious.
Yeah, we want to start a new podcast called Curiousaholic,
Oh my goodness. No, I don't. I mean, I don't know if you're serious about that, but I mean, no, it's more of a joke.
I think we'll make a joke podcast called Curiousaholic.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll do like a parody of Curiousaholic.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You heard it right here, guys.
It might come up soon. We'll see. That might be funny. An angrier version.
Yeah.
Curiousaholic.
It's funny because like Curiousaholic, if you just change the first letter of the word, it just changed the whole meaning of the podcast. So Curiousaholic turns into Furiousaholic. Like everything's, you're just angry the whole time.
Angry. I'm gonna play metal as the theme.
Yeah.
But anyways, so to move on to the last questions. So why aren't there more industries that are following the route of doing more with less, right? Because there are still some things that can be done more efficiently, but yet we still use so much, a lot of resources and whatnot. Like let's say building a house, right? It takes a lot of resources. We still build houses like we did, 100 years ago, like the foundation, the woods and everything, like that. Why don't we do those kind of things more efficiently? Why aren't more industries?
I know, maybe it's because of what we just said. Like, do we want to make it that efficient? Like, let's think about this. Let's say we found the most efficient way to build a house.
Yeah.
How many people would lose their jobs?
Huh. Yeah. Well, there is that, I guess.
And that's part of balance, right?
Yeah.
If we make everything just automatic.
So then you think for the sake of employment, for example, we need to sacrifice, resources and time and effort to like employ people.
Because like nowadays everything is just, everything could be done by computers, like literally. Like we could build robots to do anything we want.
Yeah. And
yet we don't do it.
Why don't we?
Exactly. It's for the exact reason that if we did that, then people will lose their jobs and people will not have lives. And
is there a solution to that, possibly?
A solution? What do you mean?
We have spoken about in the past?
The Venus Project.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Venus Project this whole time.
Oh, okay, that's good then. Well, I was going to bring it up because, the architect, Buckminster Fuller, was a big influence on Jacques Fresco, the founder of Venus Project. Because if you remember Venus Project, it was all about that. Automation, technology, robots doing the work for us, and an economy that was resource-based, that we were based on, what resources do we have and how efficiently can we fulfill the needs of humans. So in a society like that, where, it wouldn't be based on trade and barter and money, it could work. Where, who cares? The robots can do. I still have, like, my needs met,
Yeah.
So then, the socioeconomic systems that we have in place are what's kind of hindering the progress in efficiency, because, I guess we can admit that, the capitalistic system does like scarcity, does like, kind of wasting resources and whatnot.
It sounds like a solution to me.
The Venus Project.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Back to the utopia.
Yeah, I know a lot of people look at it that way. But I just think it could be a better solution to a lot of problems that we're currently facing. I don't think it will be perfect, but
I think that's the reason that we don't make everything as efficient as possible.
Yeah, because it's just the economic system that we're in right now, right?
Yeah.
So, if we think about it, are we going to be able to sustain this? And for how long?
Yeah. We don't know.
If we use a lot of resources. So, to kind of, close off all of this, some closing thoughts. So, as we see, right, ephemeralization is already happening in certain industries, the computer, cell phone, camera, or others. So it is only a matter of time, though, when more and more of what we create and produce is done with less and less. But the third point that I want to come to is the core idea of this is sustainability, right?
Yeah.
That we can sustain more people using less and less. So I think, in my opinion as well, if we want to continue as a species without facing a huge worldwide, crisis of resources, then we need to think about intelligently on how we use the resources we have.
For sure. Yeah.
So what do you think? What else would you have to add?
For closing thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it is important to, make it efficient and keep those resources and use them efficiently and effectively. But I think it is important to have balance, where if we advance too fast with our technology and our society, then, is there really point living at that point? Like, does it really suck the life out of everything?
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at it. Maybe a different perspective, but.
So then, I kind of agree that we should progress, but we should progress in a way where we always, look back and like correct ourselves and like, balance out the. It's
kind of like the old point that we brought up. Like, when a new technology comes out, don't always take it as fact and, just embrace it.
Yeah. Let the beta testers.
Yeah. Just, see for yourself how you feel about the technology and, go from there. Don't just take every technology as
adopted like some, like
part of your life. Yeah, exactly.
Which, you're right. So there's this kind of tug and pull between like being conservative in what we have and the way we do things, and the advancement of society, more liberal, more creative ideas and whatnot. But I think that kind of wraps it up. So sustainability I think is a key part of this, and I think if we want to survive, we gotta think about it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe before this, let's start reducing our plastic use, because down there it's that might be our end before this.
Yeah, I don't think this is our end. I think it's more of like progress than regression. But
okay. What I mean end as in, because we do use a lot of resources. In
that sense. Yeah.
And I mean that we need to catch up and making it efficient.
Our resources down there are taking a hit, though. So.
Yeah, those are taking a hit. We gotta, that might be a priority more right now.
I don't know if you guys know what we're referring to, but go look at one of our old episodes and you'll probably get it.
The endocrine disrupting
chemicals.
Yep. Which is a bit of a frightening one, but very interesting. Anyway, so just I think that will be it. We'll wrap this episode up. So thank you guys for watching this episode. I also want to just low-key thank a viewer that did inspire this topic. The unknown man.
Really? Is that how you? Wow, that's 2 in a row, buddy.
2 in a row, yeah. Because you got inspired for the last episode, and I got the inspiration from this. He went on a crazy, rant of ideas and whatnot, which made absolutely no sense, kind of. And then I got this out of that. So
interesting.
Yes.
I was like curious, like how you came up with this, but now I kind of see some hints of unknown people in here.
Unknown knowledges being thrown around. Anyway, so thank you.
He's basically sitting right here as we speak at this point.
He's just right there. The invisible man. Maybe we'll reveal him one day.
Yeah, we should.
Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. So if you liked it, you can leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more on our YouTube channel, leave a comment. We release an episode almost every week. We try to. You can check us out on all the streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all those good places. And we will catch you guys next time.
Yep. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.